thing.
Holding
space for
yeah.
therapists.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Because you wanna go with someone, you want to know that you're in safe hands, that they're 100% present for you,
Yes.
that they don't just bring up their own stuff and dump it on you, or that they're going to take it all on. Like I get so many practitioner clients that jump off the table and go, oh, I'm so sorry, I just dumped all this stuff. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, this is safe, you know. It's all good. You know, I clear it after, it's fine. They can totally trust and relax.
Yes.
And that's a big part, especially with our way of it.
That's right. Yeah, for practitioners to be conscious and present in the space that they are holding space and honouring that person that they're treating at the time.
Yeah, and it's so important because there's so much stuff that they take on energetically, very much. Like, for example, when I started my practice, right? Because when I was growing up, I would always feel and sense, you know, stories in people, and I would know what's going on in their lives, and I was like, I don't know why I think I know that. And my boyfriend at the time went, oh, you're crazy, like how would you even know? And I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe you're right, maybe, I don't know, maybe I make it up, I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Yes.
And with time I realized, and once, you know, we split up, I was like, actually, this is so true. When I talk to them, they tell me that, you know. So I was like, okay, I think I'm going to listen to that a bit more. And then I listened to it more, and then over the years, I mean, obviously it got really strong, and then I would get all these stories when I was treating people later. And I realized after the markets, for example, I'd be wiped, you know? So then I'd have like all these stories buzzing around my head, and I'd be like trying to process it all, and it was really exhausting. And I didn't know how to hold the space then. Right. And then I had to learn techniques over techniques.
Well, that's a great question that we'll move into, if we may, because when I was starting off as a student, 7 years ago or so, I had done a treatment with a lady who just broken up with a partner, saw back, did a session, walked out of her apartment, and I couldn't breathe. I was like, short breath. I called a friend and did a session the following day for 2 hours, and I purged. I just cried. What was that? You know? Yeah. And since then I've learned. However, I'm interested to know what techniques you would suggest to other therapists to use to hold their own personal space when treating.
Yeah, so this is like a big topic, and my husband and I will be running workshops around this.
Fantastic.
Because I feel like it's such a huge thing.
Yes.
Little techniques are just really being really present, making sure you call yourself in first, make sure you're really present in your body, as you know, your whole spirit, your higher self is really here, so you can be really present and ready and mindful in that space, rather than being distracted and thinking about other things.
Yes.
Pulling yourself right back there. And that already helps to not take on stuff in that story, in that specific session. But if there's already lots of old stuff there, you need to clear it. So my husband does holographic kinetics, and he that's what he does. That's his specialty. You know, he focuses on clearing all this old stuff, and it's
Can we say the word
again? Holographic kinetics.
Holographic kinetics.
Yes, so that's an amazing modality that he practices, and he's got raving people going out every day going, wow, my life's so amazing, you know. And I've had countless sessions by him, you know. It's amazing. Like, I feel so blessed that I have him on my side to be able to clear stuff as it comes up. I can help him and he can help me. It's amazing because stuff does come up, and we do very deep work, and so it attracts big stuff, you know. We need to be able to clear it, otherwise you'd be going under, you'd get sick, or you know. Yeah. So presence, doing lots of mindfulness, being aware of stuff. If there's stuff coming up, go somewhere and get help to clear it, and not calling things in. That's a big advice of not going out and this is a tricky topic because, you know, I'm not even sure what you do in your practice, you know, but generally what we've been finding is that when people always say, please help, or angels here, or guides there, or lots of different helpers, which is fine to get support, but the problem is we don't know what we're calling on. And the tricky thing is that a lot of people don't actually know. They think, yeah, but they're the really good ones, you know, they're the light ones. But the thing is, every being on earth has yin and yang, or light and dark, or you know, their own agenda. We're all beings. And so what happens is, and I like to compare it with a friend's story that I had the other day, or not the other day, a few months ago, with getting help from her. And so I had like 3 friends. One said, sure, I'll help you. And don't worry about expecting anything back. It's totally cool. And I felt that was true. Someone else said, okay, cool. I do this and then you can just do something for me another day. That was cool.
Yep.
And someone else says, yeah, sure, I'm totally happy to help. I don't expect anything. But it wasn't right.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, she walked to someone else and said, oh, now I can ask Sam for this and for that. And I was like, okay, that doesn't feel right.
No.
But because she wasn't upfront about it, it was not right? So what happens is when we call up on the help of angels or guides or all these different beings that think they're so awesome and lovely and helpful, they have their own agenda. So you never know if within a year or 2 or 3 or 10 years or 20 years, they go, okay, now I helped you do all this amazing stuff and you were buzzing and you had all this amazing success. Well, now it's my turn. And then they use your vehicle, your body, to do something else.
Yeah.
And this maybe sounds a bit more out there. I'm talking, very spiritual here.
Sure.
But it's what we see every day, and so this is why it's such an important topic that needs to be talked about.
Sure. And if that person projects it like, no, it's okay, and then holds that energy of like secretly like having an expectation of something and perhaps embedding that for the future of karma.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's not just even affecting yourself, but then also if this practitioner calls on stuff and that these beings are helping, like making it all amazing, but then they can also jump on the receiver of the session and then drive havoc in their life and all this stuff, and it's actually totally out there what's out there. And we see really crazy stuff. So it's not really general public will go, what, they're totally crazy. But this is what people are experiencing, They like there was also a session recently that my husband did for someone. They had a child and the child had an operation.
Right.
And the child was screaming that it didn't want to die. And the mum was like horrified because obviously she doesn't want her I think 5 or 6 year old to freak out and screaming for hours and hours after the operation. It was horrible. But they managed to clear this being that hopped into this little boy that had died previously and didn't want to die again. Well, there you go. So it's out there stuff, but then they cleared it and now it's all cool, and there's no trauma left.
It's what's happening now. I think it's time we start to talk about this sort of thing because it's so real. And there's so many practitioners out there that experience things in their clinic and they're like, I can't talk about that.
Because, I don't know what to do about this.
Or my, it's in my practice that I can't speak of this. I can't put it out there, but it's real. I've done.
It's so real. Holographic kinetics is actually the modality I know that works with that 100%. Yeah.
I'd like to share, if I may, a moment of what happened to me in one of the sessions where I was actually being trained at the time of a Rayner style practitioner, which is deep work. It's incredible work.
Cool.
Brandon Rayner was working on a table, and I'm very over the top, like I've got to be in the mix. I smelt this really dark, this just an off smell type thing, and the lady on the table had a dark energy in her, and her husband was there. Said, "Oh, he's here," and we're like, "What?" And there's like 20 of us there. And she's like, she has a man in a dark cloak being that comes around. And this session went for about an hour and a half and all stood back and she said, he's going. And when she said, he's gone, we're in a yoga studio with no windows, one sarong hanging down on the door. And when she said it's gone, it blew up and out. So this and we're all like, wow, just crying, like,
wow.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, break time, but to see that literally happen. And
totally, so many times, yes.
So it's time that practitioners really do open up to another depth of what we do.
Totally.
And being conscious of that is.
And that is so important.
The next step of where we're going, humanity is evolving into becoming light bodies, which means that we go into different paradigms of, we travel.
So it's really important to know the right things to really stay in our body at the same time as expanding and growing and evolving.
Yes.
So that we can really claim the space on Earth, because otherwise we're just one of those airy-fairy ones that drift off and don't really have any impact.
That's right.
And it's
exactly.
about making the impact with this understanding
Yes.
to bring it into this world.
Exactly. You can
Yeah.
be up there and thinking, but if you're not grounded, we can't. We can't.
Yeah, we can't do it in this
Do it,
world.
exactly.
You can kind of feel the stuff, but
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're kind of being brushed to the side because you're not really there. But if you're a solid tree, they can't just knock you over.
Mm.
And so it's really important. Again, that grounding and the solar plexus point that I showed. Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome.
Awesome.
So
Yay.
awesome.
Cool.
Thank you, Sand.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. We've at the foot mouth of the
Mount Coolum.
Mount Coolum, at the bedrock.